What is happening, everybody? I hope you've had a good...
Back in like 2005, something like that.
I think my first con was so good. It's Friday Junior.
It's Friday Junior, it's podcast day, it's payday.
And when you come out doing a like, doesn't matter how you feel about the situation.
My name is Raff, and always before we start the podcast, because we just want to talk about it. We want to talk about music and just share those stories and experience. This is my co-host, Carl, a.k.a. the Beer Buddy. He is hailing you.
This sort of weird era where they're sort of right in that post-grunge.
Look, you're fighting the good fight in today's world. My war was fought 40 years ago, really.
We are the two dudes who talk music, and we are here. Hey, I'm too quick on that air horn button, mate. How you doing?
Yeah, that is amazing. I love it. You're second on the dude. Fantastic.
How you doing, you amazing legends? I am the Reverend Raff. This here is the Beer Buddy Carl. We are the two dudes who talk music, and welcome to the Two Dudes Talk Music podcast. That's right, it is a brand new week. It is a brand new episode for you guys, and man, it is getting closer and closer. It is so very, very nearly time for Metal to the Max. Ooh. And we are going to be continuing our coverage of that one today. But before we dive in, mate, how you doing? What have you been up to?
Man, I was out last night.
Mm-hmm.
I was out in Goulburn for that Hume Conservatorium.
Oh yeah,
show. Yeah. I don't know if you noticed, but back there I'm actually missing a guitar.
Yeah. What happened? What's it gone?
I donated it.
You donated it?
I took it down there and I gave it to them. Because they had the kids there that were organising and helped running this thing. They'd organised raffles to try and, because this is all they organised it themselves, so they can fund and put the money back into the conservatorium so they can continue using the space and get funding to it. Government has stopped funding to the joint.
Jesus.
So last minute
was like, do better, government.
Or you're going to see that in the video coming up on Two Dudes Talk Music, because I recorded the whole thing, and yeah, we're going to try and use you, like our fans, to try and help these young people out. But they're doing great work down there. I really enjoy what they were doing down there. But yeah, I donated that thing, and the kid that won it, I was happy to see it go.
Awesome.
You could not wipe the smile off my face. And that kid, he bought 48 tickets.
48 tickets.
They done him at $2 a ticket. So he goes, man, I could never afford a guitar. And he's just like, if I win that, I'll be stoked. And he won it. And it was so good to see. Like, brought a tear to the eye. It was so good. It was so good.
You're doing the Lord's work, my friend.
Yeah, well, mate, as long as these kids keep happy, like I said to him, I said I want to be able to come back to Goulburn and film him in a band with my old guitar. That would just be the cherry on top for me, seeing that thing get good use, But yeah, other than that, man, no, just really looking forward to getting into this Metal to the Max thing. Every week, every podcast is just I'm itching. I'm chomping at the bit.
I'm finding myself both dreaming and daydreaming about it. Like if it's, I hope no one from work's watching this episode. If it's a little slow at work and I don't have a whole lot to do, I'll sort of catch myself, wandering off in my head for a couple of minutes, just picturing our drive across the plains.
Yep.
Rolling up to the joint.
Yeah, man. Just the whole thing's going to be electric.
Every time I close my eyes, it's like just red dust for miles.
Yeah, and just it's the people. It's going to be the sea of black and red.
It is going to be so good.
It's going to be awesome.
Oh, my man, I cannot wait. It's going
to
be.
But other than that,
good.
How have you been, my friend? What have you been up to?
Man, I've been okay. Like, I don't know if I mentioned it or not. I went and saw the Borderlands movie the other week. It was.
You didn't mention that. We spoke about Deadpool.
Not so good, Al.
Everyone keeps saying that.
Yeah, it's the more I learn, like, yeah, as someone who's been a massive, massive fan of the games over the last, 10, 12, 14 years, however long it is since they first came out, the movie did not capture the energy of the games at all. if they got everything else right, I could forgive the storyline changes. So like, storyline different from what's in the game. I could forgive that if they had everything else nailed, but it's just so wrong at every turn. Okay. When you find like a fan-made project of something on YouTube and they've got the costumes bang on, but nothing else feels up to par?
Yeah.
That.
Oh, and that had some big names in it. That had like Kevin Hart and who else? Sigourney Weaver in it?
No, not Sigourney. It had Jamie Lee Curtis. It had
Jamie Lee Curtis. Sorry, yeah.
Had Cate Blanchett. And
wasn't Vin Diesel in it as well? No, okay.
Oh well, that was not to my knowledge.
Okay.
But
I thought he was a dude in the mask. I don't know.
Oh no, well, I don't know. I don't even know who was playing Krieg, to be honest with you. But it was
Well, you know what? In a world where Hollywood is basically destroying everything at the moment, I don't know whether it was just probably poor director choice. But when the story's already done for you, just stick to the program. It's done for you.
The most insulting thing about it, though, is that a video game movie this bad sets back video game movies. Like all of the good work that has been done, and there's been some really good video game movies in the last several years, and adaptations into like Netflix anime series or TV shows, or this movie, I feel, sets all of that back by like a decade. That's how bad the film is. Okay. Budget between making the film and advertising it was about 150 million US. Opening weekend, globally, 17 million US.
Oh, wow. I mean,
barely
Deadpool should just be a
10%.
good example of just stick to the material.
It barely scraped past 10%. I've since heard that it was filmed with the intention of having like an R rating or US R rating, which is like usually an MA 15 here. But that it was hacked to pieces in editing, and they tried to turn it into like a more
PG-13.
PG-13. Like, thing is, it meant to be like more like a family, family-friendly film. But even then, it was not even teens. It wasn't even like teens. It was almost like it was targeted at children more than teens. You know what I mean? It was so wrong.
That seems really dumb, considering no kid would have ever played the game.
It's the worst bit to me is a lot of interviews with people that were in high positions on it that were like, they're like, okay, do you want to, have you played the games to get a feel for what it's like? And they basically said something to the effect of, no, I don't want to play the games because I want to do, I don't want to go into it having played the games because I don't want that to color the direction we want to go in. I'm like, motherfucker, the games are the direction you want to go in. Like, everyone involved at every step of the way on this seems, or the people that matter in the process in terms of the high level decision making seem to have just botched it in every conceivable way. It's horrendous. Not even like so bad it's good type stuff, just bad, depressingly bad.
Okay.
So, not very happy about that, but
let's move into a positive note then. Let's move into a positive
note. Let's get on. So we are continuing our coverage of Metal to the Max by moving along with one of the other bands on the lineup. So today we have with us Victorian band Headstone Villains. Their look is very evocative of like a Misfits type kind of vibe, visually at least. Musically, they're very riffy, very heavy.
Oh yeah,
super energetic. Very
growly.
Very growly.
The new album is actually very good. It's very good.
So, we're really, really excited for this one. These guys are going to be playing at Metal to the Max Festival. If you hear us talking about Metal to the Max and you somehow don't know what it is, if this is your first time watching one of our episodes and you maybe have not heard about what Metal to the Max is, there's a bunch of links down in the description that will tell you. But look, we'll give you the basic rundown. It is a heavy metal festival taking place across 2 days, October 5th and 6th, in the wastelands of the Western New South Wales. It is taking place out at the Mad Max compound down near Broken Hill, which is way out there. It's right near the New South Wales, South Australia border. There is a replica of the Mad Max 2 compound. That is right, the compound from the Mad Max 2 film. And it is out there, and it's just this big old heavy metal festival taking place out there. It's camping, so you can camp from the Friday night. Then the bands are on Saturday and Sunday, and then you can make your way home on the Monday. It is a long weekend for most places across Australia. So links for the tickets down in the description. There is 30 of Australia's finest metal bands, many of whom have played and toured internationally. So before anyone gets on here, like we've talked about it a little bit with the people behind it, they're like, people will whinge and go, well, where's the internationals? They are internationals. They've toured and performed and played internationally. They have represented Australia on the global stage. So tons of international renowned bands that are playing on this thing, as well as some of Australia's best. So we're going to dive right into this one with Headstone Villains. Let's check it out. Big thank you to Sean and Jordan from Headstone Villains for joining us today. We appreciate you taking some time on your afternoon to chat with us. Very, very much appreciated. So for those who may not be familiar with Headstone Villains, what's the elevator pitch?
Oh, you want to take this one, Pity, or do you want me to jump in, mate?
Oh, you can start off, man. You go for it.
Well, conceptually, like at the start of things, we literally just wanted to be sort of in the local area, like a band that was a little bit sort of out of the box from everything else that we're sort of sitting around seeing and watching. Kind of, I guess the quick sales pitch for it would be we're a shock horror band that even though we look a certain way, we want to get up on stage and have fun, get everyone moving and dancing.
5 blokes in makeup from a country town. If that's not intriguing enough, like,
I love every bit of it. You know, like, and I know I can say for Raff, he appreciates a good bit of theatrics on stage and that extra bit of effort that you sort of take to separate yourselves from the rest of the crowd.
I'm pretty big on it. Like, used to wear that on stage before I got an updated mask for my current thing. So you know.
Nice.
Used to be in a band called Acid Nymph that had was all like clown themed stuff. So yeah.
The mask on mask war needs to stop, and you all need to get together and just do the massive mask tour. We'll call it that, the massive mask tour, and just all the mask. You know what? You
mask,
don't know what
face painted, everything. It just
half of you don't, or most of you do now, but you know, you don't know what each other look like anyway. Who cares? Just get out there and have fun.
When we were checking, when I was checking your stuff out, I was immediately struck by, I guess, like probably more of a visual comparison than a musical one, but I was very, very struck by the obvious kind of Misfits vibes in a certain parts of it as well. But are you guys familiar with a Sydney band called the Horrorwood Mannequins?
I can't say I've heard of them, man.
I've heard the name, but not any of their music or anything.
Similar sort of visual, like more like if you basically imagine looking sort of pretty close to what you guys are doing, but musically sounding sort of like, you know, Murder Dolls, Wednesday 13 kind of stuff. Like that's a pretty close approximation. I was just wondering because it's this very similar vibe. I was wondering if you're familiar with them.
It's kind of funny you bring up those bands because literally the conception point of the band is me and Cam, our singer, we were actually standing in a crowd watching Wednesday 13 in Melbourne, and Cam turns around to me and was like, "Oi, man, do you want to start a band?" And I was like, "I can't play any instruments or anything, man, but sure, let's go." Like,
is that why you're the bass player?
Yeah, 100%.
Oh, don't.
I'm a bass player too. I'm allowed to say it. We're allowed.
Granted, over the time we've been a band for what did Jake say earlier?
We're 8 years now.
Yeah, 8 years been together now, and in that 8 years, it's gone from three blokes from another band, one who doesn't play an instrument, and one who hasn't played drums in however many years, to just we've all sort of like switched into it now. Like, you know, Sean's playing bass like pretty much every day. Jake's played drums flat out since picking them up again. Like, it's all just sort of the difference between now and 8 years ago in terms of where we're all at, even individually, not even just as a band. Like, it's jumped a lot.
Well, I guess with maturity comes growth, and your priorities change and habits change. A big one is habits, you know, like you start to sort of give this up and you find you have a bit more time to sort of focus on your true passions that aren't so toxic, I guess, in a weird sense of a way.
Yeah.
Well, with a lot of us, like, you know, when things started kicking off and everything, it was like work is just life. And it's just like, for a few of us in the band, it's like it was consuming. It's all we did was just work. And it's kind of given us that other little bit of an outlet now to focus things constructively and something outside of just, you know, the 9 to 5.
Well, this is something that, you know, they talk about a lot with, you know, the change in with cost of living going up and it getting harder to, you know, people having to work more to make ends meet and having less to show for it at the end of the day. The idea of a third place. So like work and home are your first, you know, like home and work are your first and second places. People not having a third place is a big issue. And that's one of the reasons that, you know, making music, I think, is such a draw for some people, because it's, even if you're doing it at your home, it still feels like a third place. You know, being able to go out and being able to do this stuff with a close group of friends. Because when you're in a band with people, you do, you know, you are very, very entwined with the people you're in a band with. The joke is obviously, it's like being married to 4 other people, right? And it sounds like a joke.
Polyamorous relationship.
Sounds like a joke, but it's no fucking joke. And, you know, this having that third place, to have that outlet, to have a space that is something that you can share with your friends, separate from your work life, separate from your home life, it's so important for mental health. And for well-being, and, you know, it's just, this is one of the reasons that it's so important for venues to continue to operate, because venues provide us a third place for fans to go to. You know, like, we all remember how difficult it was during the various lockdowns and stuff like that, and even with bands doing shows, you know, some bands were doing online shows regularly for people and stuff. Like, I mean, you know, just before we started recording, we mentioned
everyone over
mentioned like Psycho Stick and whatnot. You know, Psycho Stick were doing weekly live stream gigs to provide for their fans, but also so that fans could continue to support the band through that that period. And that provides us a space, a community to go through, which just proves how important gigs are and being able to do that. So, and look, I listening to the various releases, like, you can hear the improvement as it goes along, right? You can hear the development of the band over time, which is always great. It's always fun.
It's gotten very deep on the low end on the vocals. I love it.
Yeah, that's Cammy. Most quietest dude in the world until he gets on stage.
I love that shit. You know, and that's the thing. It's like that silly meme that everyone puts out, that if you see a guitarist walk out and he looks like a fucking nerd, it's going to be the heaviest set you're ever going to get in your life.
Yeah.
Like, I love that unassuming thing.
Yeah. Like polo shirt wearing fucking like
polo shirt, glasses, normal like office friendly haircut. You know, when the breakdown hits, you're gonna die in the pit. Like, it's
100%.
Nerdiest looking dude.
The dark horse. You know, he's just gonna go off tap. Yeah.
It's like Homer Simpson. It's like, I want to see what the little guy's gonna do. I don't want to go inside.
You know it's gonna be good.
Yes.
As soon as you walk in, as soon as you walk out, bang.
Yeah.
Definitely. So we kind of mentioned it, a bit of the Misfits vibe to the visual presentation of the band there. Is that like Misfits and like Danzig and all that kind of stuff? Is that something that that was a bit of an inspiration for the band, or is there like other places that you guys draw most of your inspiration from?
It's just sort of, because we've all sort of individually got our own kind of tastes. Like, we'll all sort of we all sort of like the same sort of stuff, like all like Misfits, like, you know, Wednesday, Motionless, all that. Like, we all get into it all, but it's like we've all sort of got our own individual tastes and stuff. So, like, me, myself, and like Sean as well, like, over the years, we've grown up listening to, like, all kinds of stuff, but, like, a lot of, like, death metal, deathcore, like, all that sort of stuff, like, heavy influence, whereas Tom's, you know, very much the same, but he's also into his whole, like, Red Hot Chili Peppers, all that kind of, like, sort of vibe. Jake with, like, Kiss, all that stuff. So it's all kind of, like...
80 glam stuff.
Yeah. Like, we've all drawn our own little influences, but I think in terms of, like... the dog next door barking. I think in terms of visual, I think we've all sort of looked at these bands that have, like, paint, like, Misfits, all that stuff, and we've just sort of, like... I don't know. I'm gonna fight this, but we've just adapted to, I don't know, make it our own sort of version without jumping too far into the whole. Oh, let's do exactly what they're doing, sort of thing.
Yeah. Well, I guess there's the horror like movie inspiration, or the, like we said before, the theatrical element is something that is, you know, like heavy metal is inherently a theatrical genre. The whole purpose of it originally was the over the topness of it, the rebellion of it, the not looking like everyone else, you know, side of things. So with heavy metal and alternative music becoming, you know, I don't know if mainstream's the right word, but it feels like less of a rebellion than it used to be.
It's a lot more commercialized.
How do you it's a matter of finding your way of standing out. And Kyle and I talk about this constantly. You know, I can go on any given weekend, there is 1,000 good bands playing across Australia, right? How are you going to stand out? How are you going to be memorable amongst all those bands? There's 1,000 bands out there putting on good shows, playing competent music with half decent songs that are a bit catchy, right?
Yeah.
How are you going to stand out? It's fine if people want to come in it and come from the angle of, you know, well, we just want the music to speak for itself. Cool. If that's what you want to do and you don't want to have any other gimmicks or elements to your performance, you got to be damn good. You got to be the absolute best. And I'm not saying that people that rely on other elements are not the best of the best in saying that, but what I'm talking about is like people, you know, having fun with it and finding ways to present yourself as something a little bit different is so important. And this is one of the things that we're super excited about for Metal to the Max is looking at all of these bands. It really feels like so many of the bands are each coming at this with their own unique way to stand out, their own unique vibe and presentation. And that just makes me super excited for this whole weekend because like
you even have a look at like the Anton and Major idea, you know, like they don't really do much of the theatrics. Yes, they are a standout because they are one of the many few female fronted bands on that weekend. But they've sort of gone off the back of we're going to, if you have your ticket or if you don't have your ticket, just get your ticket and we'll sort your ride there out.
Yeah, they've got like a busload of people that they're bringing out for it.
We're just going to take people with us, and you got a free ride there. You know, like they sort of figure out different ways to keep people.
Yeah, of course,
engaged and stuff.
Yeah, engaging with your audience and like sort of figuring out what I guess your following is sort of not wanting from you. I guess you don't really want your fans expecting rides to every show and all that, but like
no, but a special one like this,
100%. Is what you like. I don't know. I guess we just try to provide just sort of like pretty much like an organic experience. Like we know the songs that we're going to play, and we've kind of got like a loose layout of how things are going to happen throughout set lists and stuff like that. But you know, you always get those things that pop up that kind of happen on the fly, and it, like often not, those things kind of make the show, you know, unique in itself, kind of thing. Like Tom, our guitarist, he's the most quietest dude ever, but he is a wild card when he plays. Like he'll be the dude standing on a bar with his shirt off playing guitar in front of everyone.
You've got to look for him mid.
You guys got to come up and play Elton Chong's in Sydney.
Oh yeah, I'll play anywhere, man.
So he gets unleashed when he's on 100%, stage.
Yeah, he's like Jet Li and Unleashed. Just take the collar off him, get him.
Yeah.
I love that movie.
That's such a
Very underrated.
Fucking hope.
Wicked,
Yeah, no.
wicked.
It's kind of
This
like
Oh, no, sorry, Jordan. Go.
oh,
No, go, man.
in terms of the just like the whole, like standing out and all that stuff. It's like I think for us too, it's kind of one of those things where it's like, yeah, we want to like have good music and all that. Obviously, a lot of the point in being in a band is to play music, so it's you want that to sort of be listenable, I guess. But then throwing in the visual element to it, it's kind of like it's almost like when you go to just any normal band playing a show, you go there to hear the music and that, but come to one of our shows or a band similar to us, I guess, and you're almost getting a bit of a theatre piece with it, sort of like almost a live movie in a way, but not so much with a plot line and all that shit. But there's more of the visual element to it, so it's it's
Well,
a
I
bit
was
of a
just saying, it's like you go to see bands and listen to music, and then you go to see other bands and you go for an experience.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
That you nailed that.
Yeah.
Are they? Look, I'm looking at the photo right now, and I love the face paint stuff. Are they sort of like? Do you develop characters around it, sort of thing, or
We
sort
had
of
talked about.
are you going to delve into like a bit of lore and?
We have talked about it back and forth. Like in the early days and stuff, we were like, oh, should we have things that are like themed? We even thought about doing things like starting up like a little web comic with the characters from the band and all of that kind of stuff. I guess because we all do our own makeup and stuff like that. Everyone sort of draws on their own inspiration from their interests.
So it's like a Wes Borland effect.
Yeah, sort of.
You never know what you're going to get. That's great.
Because I like the person. I don't really know about the other guys in particular, but like me personally, because I do like pro wrestling and shit, so I kind of mix.
Oh shit! We'll have to have a good old talk. We'll have to have a good old talk, man.
We'll touch on that sometime, yeah. But I sort of try and blend the two, so it's like a mix between like my on stage persona mixed with like my wrestling persona, and it's like I'll try and just blend it. So it's like obviously to come up to and talk to me in makeup, I'm not going to be there like, oh yeah, chuck you in a headlock, get out of my fucking face or anything. But it's like online
or RKO.
What's your what's your wrestler name? What's your wrestler name?
I'm Frankie Grime.
Frankie Grime. Okay. Then you obviously use a Headstone villain song as your entrance, right?
No, I don't.
Oh, missed opportunity.
Oh, bro.
Jeez, what's your affiliate? What's your affiliate company that you wrestle with?
MXW and APW. Oh, there's a few APWs, but Adrenaline Pro Wrestling down in Melbourne.
Okay,
nice.
So there's mostly that. Yeah, that and MXW is the main one. But yeah, so it's only a couple. I've only been doing it for a year.
Hey, I don't know if you can see behind Raff. He's got the belt there. He went to WrestleMania last year.
Got something there. I got a few other bits and pieces.
So you're going to be defending the podcast, yeah?
Oh,
look. Hey,
don't give us any more ideas.
I got to fly down to Sydney before Kyle and I get in the car to drive out. Okay, like I can't be taking. I got to have enough shit on me. I can't be bringing title belts in the fucking.
To be fair, if I have enough beer, I'll just make one out of cardboard and I'll represent Raff. I'll wrestle. I don't give a fuck.
Well, it'd have to be tag belts. It'd have to be tag belts. The two dudes.
Dude. I can do that.
Yeah.
It's a shame. It's a shame that they don't have a Thunderdome because we could have like a Hell in a Cell match or something like that.
I said this last week.
Hey, look, next year, right? Next year, find a wrestling company that's willing to go out there and run matches throughout the day.
Hey, fuck that. Next year, someone get married. Raffle ordain it.
MXW talks about doing this festival this year.
Oh shit!
Just as like a side thing, but I don't think that went through because it was a bit too much to organise for this year. I think the organisers were more like, trial it next year because they don't know how this year's going to go yet. So
it can be done though. We've done collaboration shows with like wrestling companies where it's like we'll have matches and then in between matches there'll be bands playing and then it'll kind of like switch out throughout the whole night. So it's not just like changeover times and stuff. It's just emptiness going on where people are standing around in a beer garden. There's actually constantly something always going on.
No ring death.
All I ever think of is just that South Park episode. Those run of South Park episodes where they were doing the wrestling thing, and you You got the blokes out the back all standing there in the intermission, swirling around. I can't believe that actually happened. I don't know why, but it's a great episode.
That's pretty much what the locker rooms are like, man.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. Oh, well, yeah. We
that's
will,
crazy. That's awesome.
Well, make sure that you come by the Two Dudes marquee when we're out there on the weekend, because we'll have a good old chat about plenty of wrestling stuff as well. Yeah. And
we'll be coming past. That's no doubt. After this podcast, especially, we'll come and hang out.
Yeah, mad.
Absolutely. Yeah, this is going to be good.
You'll probably see us from the other side of the bloody field or something like that, unless I heard you guys saying a couple of interviews back about having everyone sort of dress up and everything like that.
Well, I hope so. I hope there's lots of people that are going to be dressing up.
Oh, I imagine there would be. Yeah. I imagine there would be.
I just want to.
We're going to be handing out prizes. We're going to have 2 prizes. We're going to have one for the best camp set up, and we're going to have one for the best dress.
Yep.
All right, time to get bed sheets out, mate.
Yeah. I want to see some Bathurst style shit on this campsite.
Youth master vibes, man.
Yeah, mate.
Yeah. Summer nats.
Yeah. Oh.
So how far is the trip for you guys from where you're at to this site?
Yeah, about three and a bit hours.
Oh wow, you're basically next door.
Yeah, pretty much.
Lucky.
Yeah. Past Broken Hill is just an empty road. That's basically
it's the shittest drive. There's nothing on the way there.
Worst drive ever.
Ours is gonna be pretty hectic. I think we're setting off at
I looked it up last night.
Midnight Thursday night or something, and then just making our way out from Sydney. So
be careful of potholes and whirly winds.
The only thing I'm more worried about Roos getting out of the mountains.
Yeah, they're at Broken Hill area too. So
yeah, that's the whole thing. The reason why I want to try and get out of the reason why I want to leave at midnight. I had a look last night. It's about 12 and a half hours if we leave at midnight. So we'll trek it. We'll get over the mountains. We should be out of the mountains before the sun comes up, which means the roos won't be too bad. I'm going to pull over once it gets to sort of that sun up period when all the roos are rampant.
Yeah, 100%.
I'm going to pull over and chill. And at about probably 7:30, 8 o'clock, I'll start again. We'll start again, and then we'll just go and because as long as you don't hit twilight and that dusk till dawn part,
yeah.
Fingers crossed.
We'll be careful.
The roos shouldn't be too bad.
Yeah. I mean, it's pretty open out that way anyway, so you'll see them. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Mate, once I see one, it's 60 Ks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They'll roll off the car at 60 Ks, so I won't break the window.
Yeah. you should
Let's not find out.
You should bring up Tom's incident when we drove back from Broken Hill.
Oh.
So we played Broken Hill once before, and Tom had to leave the same night because he had work that next morning. So we've all driven down together except Tom. He's come down in his own car. And we told him, why don't you just stay the night, man? Because you're going to have to drive back at 1 a.m. There'll be roos everywhere, dude. And Tom being Tom, no, it's all good, man. It's all good. And he's taken his brother and one of our mates back. They're all pissed. And Tom's Dezo driving them back to Mildura. Anyway, we get a message probably an hour and a half later, and Tom's collected a roo and smashed all his front end and fucking halfway back from Broken Hill in the middle of nowhere, and he's just ruined his car, totaled it.
4 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
Oh, see, it's that awkward time, man, right before the sun comes up.
And we all told him too, hey man, maybe stay the night because you'll hit a roo. No.
That's your fault. You should have said anything.
Yeah.
We brought it on him. Shit. Sorry, Tom.
You've muted yourself, Raff.
My apologies. we do want to remind everybody that's going to be driving out there, be fucking careful, right?
Please.
These are I've done the drive from Brisbane out to Orange a couple of times. There's a shitload of back roads through there. The potholes will sneak up on you because they're not. It's that they're not. Highways, quality
and you lose
roads.
Concentration, man.
But you're doing 100, you're doing 90 or 100 or 110 through a lot of these regions, but the roads are not well maintained, so the potholes will come up on you real fast. And if there's an emergency, It's real hard to spot. So please, everyone that is driving out there, be super, super careful. Don't take any unnecessary risks. Make sure you're topping up at every servo that you can. Make sure you've got, first aid kit, puncture repair kit, jerry can with extra fuel. Make sure that you are prepared for a drive like that, because it's a fucking long drive, and it's a long way to anywhere for help, and it's a long wait for any emergency services or any tow trucks. So be prepared. Don't underestimate it, because the fucking outback will get you.
And not just that, it's a long weekend in Sydney. Slow down.
Yes.
It is double demerits from midnight on the Thursday. Slow down. Take your time. Let's all get there safe. And I just want to give a big shout out on the way back from Goulburn last night. You hit the highway. I've got to do, the 100 and something Ks up the highway. You lose concentration. As opposed to a copper pulling me over last night, you know what he did? Pulled in front of me and just went the 110 and did it to about 4 other people.
Mad lad.
Mate, that is the way to get people to drive safe.
Yeah.
They get a bad rap, but they do good things.
Man, look, admittedly, when I looked down, I was like 115. I wasn't even clipping on 120. But he just pulled in front of me, sort of dabbed on the brakes. As soon as I saw the red lights come up, like the brake lights come on, you see the policing on the back. But what an absolute legend. Like, check me for the rest of the drive home. Like, really, that was great.
Yeah. Good on him for doing it, for being decent about it and giving you the warning.
Yeah, not being a dick. Well, there was a guy that came right past me at like 140. I'm like, dude, he's going to get pulled over. And the copper seen him in the rear vision, just pulled into the right lane, dabbed on the brakes, and he just slowed down, jumped in the left lane, and everyone kept on moving.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what you want.
I'll never see it again in my lifetime.
Yeah.
So look, with the lineup being as deep as it is there any bands in particular that you guys are looking forward to seeing that you maybe haven't seen before, but by reputation? Or is there any bands that you're really looking forward to playing with on this lineup?
There's a few that like I've seen and gone, like I've heard the name, keen to see them and all that stuff. One I'm really keen to see, I guess technically again, is PTL. So in our old band, we played with them in Port Pirie. Can't even remember when. I want to say 2017, something like that. And they were, what were they called then? It was what PTL stands for. I think it's Putrefy the Living or something. And then they sort of like dropped off for a while, then come back as PTL. So like they're basically just a bunch of guys that, Tom, Cam, and myself haven't seen for like, I want to say almost 10 years now, before Headstone even started. Like,
I really hope we catch that moment on camera.
Yeah, that'll be good. Like, see those guys again. I guess like seeing so like obviously we've got the other Mildura guys like Dark Orion and stuff too who are playing, and like they're always good to watch live. Like bunch of great dudes and stuff. Obviously we played with them a few times. So like this being one of their biggest shows that they've done too. So it'll be awesome to see how they go. Just sort of seeing people from like the same place as us and
catching up with bands that we've played with and stuff, like hanging out with like the Witch kind of guys and stuff's always fun.
Oh yeah, yeah.
We've played with them and seen them. I've caught their shows a couple of times, but Armored Earth as well. They hit heavy.
So fun story about for Armored Earth. I know Dan from way back, from like. Before Armored Earth, before he was doing Frankenbach. I met Dan back when he was still doing Scar the Surface.
Okay.
Yeah, way back.
We played with Frankenbach back in 2012. That was a long time ago.
Yeah.
They got a solid cult following, Frankenbach.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they're always a good show, Frankenbach. Like they got a reputation for a reason. They always bring the thunder. But yeah, Armored Earth's going to be great. Like super keen. I think that's actually our next week's interview We're going to be interviewing with Dan, so that'll be fun. But yeah, I met Dan when Scar the Surface played a thing, and it was actually not too dissimilar. It was a bit of a big swing type festival. The guys in what band was it? Celebrity Morgue, they were called at the time. Put this kind of pitched this idea, and the whole thing was all of the bands funded the festival basically. And it was bands fund the festival, and then everyone gets an equal split after it's all done.
Like job sharing.
Unfortunately, I think they had some internal issues at the time, and there was, I don't know if it actually, I don't know. I was kind of getting second and third hand stuff, so I don't know how much of it's fact versus speculation, but we didn't get any money out of it at the end of the day. But, it was like, sort of, a dozen or so bands from various places all sort of meeting up at this one spot, getting a bus up from Sydney up to Katoomba to play at this venue up at Katoomba, and then back down into Sydney the next day to play at Factory Theatre in Sydney. So it was a double event there, and that was really cool because there was lots of bands from various different states, and that's where I met Dan and the rest of the guys from Scar the Surface. And that's a band that I think doesn't get enough credit. Like, they had some really, really good shit coming out back in the day. Would have loved to see them continue on, but things being what they are, But I feel like similar vibes to what's going to be happening at Metal to the Max, right? Like, everyone's kind of coming together for just a great idea, great concept. Everyone's just down to have a good time. And for the bands, like Kyle and I know probably about, or are familiar with, maybe about half a dozen bands on the lineup. So we've been really excited checking out all these new bands that we've never heard of, that we're, encountering for the first time, but also super excited for the bands that we do know to get, because a lot of the people that we're talking to, like, they maybe aren't familiar with a lot of the bands that we know. So them getting familiar, bands like Flaming Wreckage is going to go nuts on this show. Like,
man,
they're going to impress so many fucking people at this thing. Obviously, like, Witchgrind is a bit more well known in the, because obviously they've been around, they've toured Australia a lot. And they're kind of one of the bands, but it's been a while since I've seen them, so I'm super keen to see what they bring, because I know their live shows are always something special.
Their lineup is great live, like terrific live. So that'll be awesome.
So I'm just, and we were talking to, Ash from Firestorm and Lead Heavy Promotions the other week, and he's telling us, like, the stage is going to be enormous.
Fucking huge.
The stage is going to be so
big. Didn't he say 9x9 or something like that?
I think he said 9x9 is the current setup that's looking like potentially being. So,
about he has these big dreams, but he follows, and it's good.
I'm looking at like a 9x9 stage. There's so many bands that are going to feel they're not going to know what to do with all that space.
I can't wait for it. Like, half of our problem is there's not enough stage space, because we're so
I want to
active
see people going like Chino on that shit. Chino is the most ADD-ridden singer I've ever seen in my life. That guy's up on the out in the crowd. He's over here. He's over there, and I love like that's what I want to see. You guys have got room to have fun.
Beyblade battle on stage once. We might do that again.
Beyblade. Well,
just
the guys from We the Hollow are started doing a music festival. They've sort of jumped off their own music festival, and they're literally like, we want to have like a Beyblade arena in the middle of the pit, and have like circle pits going around like fucking Beyblade battles and shit.
Hell yeah.
Like, cool.
Man, I swear everyone saw that Magic the Gathering thing. Did you see that? Did you see that? Yeah, where everyone's in there's a mosh pit and there are people playing Magic.
That pissed me off because
the mosh pit.
Wanted to be there.
But this is it. Like, this is what we're like. One of the beautiful things about Metal to the Max. If you're going and you've got a weird special interest thing, fucking bring it.
Yeah,
bring it. make it a part of this whole weekend because it's going to be crazy. I mean, there's going to be fucking fire dancers coming down. There's going to be like all sorts of crazy stuff. There's going to be people in, crazy like outfits and everything running around the joint.
I'm going to be drinking in my flannel.
Yeah.
Hey, that's a good idea.
yeah. And look, we'll be chilling out. We'll be down to talk to everybody and anybody. We'll be going or getting around, interviewing all the bands, interviewing all the punters. Like this whole thing is going to be just, it's a bit of an acid test for us too, because like we've got all these ideas that we want to implement. If this year goes well, once we know the parameters of how this year works, and we can, while we're out there, we can go, all right, would it be viable to do X, Y, Z next year? Cool, great. Next year we got a bunch more ideas that we can look at implementing and bring into the fore, and we really want to expand the coverage of the event and promote it and bring it out. Like next year, 30 bands, like fucking hell. If we were to interview all 30 bands next year, that's like half of our year.
Realistically, if next year's a shoe-in, I reckon we just do the interviews on the day and live stream the whole thing. Like, because if next year we find out we need a Starlink, guess what I'm getting? Starlink.
Yeah,
like it's as simple as that. Oh, mate, we are Raff and I's full intention of this is to bring this to the world because the concept is one of the best concepts to grab an international audience on the planet. It's at the Mad Max 2 museum in the middle of Australia where some of the shit was filmed.
Yep.
Even if you're just a Mad Max 2 fan and you need an excuse to come down there and do something for a couple of days and you don't want to there's your perfect opportunity. There's a block out weekend. It runs on such a good idea. I cannot believe it hasn't been thought of earlier.
Yeah. I've always kind of thought that since this has been a thing. Like, it's such a what would you call it? Like a nostalgic kind of place to go, I guess. Like, especially for like the older people who grew up watching the Mad Max films and all that stuff. And it's kind of like, obviously they have little events out there. Maybe not to the scale of like a music festival, but like it's kind of it's like a wonder why no one's really done it before. Like,
and not just it's like the easiest form of cosplay you're ever going to get. Metalheads are just going to rock up normally. It's going to look like the bloody Mad Max, like Mad Max 2 Apocalypse anyway. So it just fits. So if you just want to do a cheap cosplay thing for the weekend, and just, there you go.
Me and Petey was Master Blaster.
You went.
Oh no, not pig shit energy.
Yeah. I was going to do the Commodore for you, that guy with the guitar that shoots the flames out and shit as well.
Man, and you think even the new one with Chris Hemsworth and that, where it's just like a bit of lore behind the it's not even like has nothing to do with Mad Max in general. It's just a bit of lore behind the Mad Max universe.
Yeah.
Like, but there's potential for someone to go out there and just make a little Mad Max movie over the whole weekend between two feuding camps.
Yeah.
I want to see it. I want to see someone pull up to a campsite. We want your beer. Give us the beer and walk away.
We're going to hit up Firestorm because Ash doesn't drink anymore, but I'm going to get him to buy an excessive amount of alcohol and I'm going to steal it and we're going to cause a territory war.
Oh, man.
I'm not going to steal it, actually. I'm going to demand he gives it to me.
Give us the beer and walk away.
Give us the beer.
Look, Kyle's going to have a drone so we can get all those cool angles and aerial shots of the whole thing.
Yeah, man, we got all the toys for this one, man.
I'm going to flip it off.
Yeah. Well, we've got. I think so far, Kyle and I have probably invested about $1,000 each into new gear for this for our coverage of this.
Yeah, man.
So that's before we start getting into like my flights down and all the
petrol, accommodation.
all the petrol and accommodation and everything like that. So it's
because unfortunately we aren't camping. But look, it's only because we need to charge all our shit.
Yeah,
we weren't about to spend $1,000 on a fucking DJI generator.
Don't want to leave it out.
Well, that's it. We're gonna have a ton of electronics. We're gonna need somewhere to charge things up, move like fucking video files off video footage across from cameras onto storage and everything like that. So we're not going to be camping out on site, but we'll be close enough that we can zip back and forth anytime we need.
And we'll be judging you, even though we're not.
But we'll be around. We'll be around anyway. Like I said, we'll be on. We're going to be on site. We're going to be on site for most of the day. Like, we're hoping we can get out there on the Friday arvo/evening and start saying hi to people, start setting our shit up. And if you see the drone go over your head on the Friday night while you're setting up camp, yes, it's me.
Yeah, I think Sean and I were discussing that as well. We're not sure what the other guys were doing, but I think we were just going to go for the whole weekend anyway and just make a weekend of it and have some fun, man. Like,
I think a lot of the bands should. It's going to be a great opportunity for networking. And I hate that word. I hate that word with a deep passion that runs through my soul. But
it's everything these days, though, isn't it?
It is, man. You gotta just walk the walk and talk the talk, and it's all about being humble and appreciating everyone else that's showed up there.
What's the worst that'll happen, really? Like,
Well, the cool thing, one of the things that really excites me about it is, with so many bands from all across Australia coming together for an event like this, how many shows and tours are going to spawn from this event? Like, how many bands are going to, two bands that have never met before are going to see one another's performance and just link up, and then that's going to be, for years to come, they're going to be going and playing each other's shows, and whenever they go to the other one's city, they're going to jump on the shows, and it's just going to be this, you don't have to look at it in terms of networking. It's just it's just making those connections that are going to forge the development of those bands going forward.
Yeah, it's like the melting pot that could potentially stem off the next year or two shows.
Exactly.
Melting pot. I like that. That's much better.
Like we were saying to Ash, next year comes around. He wants to get all different lineup next year, which is a great idea. I think that's the best way to do it. Even before we interviewed him, I was like, I would love to see it be, no repeat. So if you play it one year, you're not playing it the next year, because you want to ensure, there's at least a year in between. You know what I mean? And
we'll just go and spectate with the second year.
Well, that's it. If you want to go the next year, you can go and spectate the second year. But I would love to. So I was saying, I'd love to see next year ensuring a band from every state and territory, if that's possible. Maybe even get New Zealand in on it as well, right? And try and get this really good,
and then
just getting this representation of all across Australia, a band from every corner of the country to come to this place and represent it, because that would just be the coolest thing in my mind. Well,
wouldn't it be hard to get one from each? At least one. If you could just get one, and just that way you can say one from every state.
As a minimum, I'm not saying it has to be evenly split or anything, but I think if you can get at least one from every state, brilliant fucking move. And it's, it also broadens, hey, there's, it broadens the potential for, people from Perth, for example, this band from Perth is going to be promoting this event. It's going to be at least a couple of people from Perth that are going to be down to go. I can guarantee you that. Same with Northern Territory, right? There's going to be people from fucking Darwin that are going to want to get out to this thing, and they're going to be real gung-ho about it, and they're going to make a way to get there. And it builds up even more, right? Something like this is going to have appeal for fans that may want to travel internationally to attend this kind of event. So there's a lot. Long term, there is so much potential for this event to grow and evolve into something really, really special. So, we're stoked to be getting in on the ground floor with it. And like I said, if this first one goes well, we got a lot of plans for how to expand our coverage next year, pending how it goes when we actually get out there, what we find the situation's like. But we're already planning sort of 3 or 4 cameras on and in and around our tent, depending on where we are in relation to the stage. 1 or 2 cameras pointing towards the stage, getting stuff on there. There's
mosh
so
pit
much
camera.
Yep,
mosh 360 camera. That'll be a mosh pit camera for the day. At least while the sun's up.
Yeah. Or the chest. I've got a chest harness for the GoPro.
I've got a big stick for my 360 cam, so I can just hold it up above my head and just
stand in the middle of the circle pit and watch everyone going around. But it's there's so much, like I said, the potential that an event like this holds is amazing, and we have faith that everyone that comes is gonna, I don't know, call us naive, but we have faith that everyone that comes to the event's gonna be well behaved, and no one's gonna trash anything. Everyone's gonna treat the site respectfully, and
big props to the lead heavy guys as well, because it's a big ordeal, to try and organize and get everyone on board the same page and stuff. Like, they're kind of putting their neck out a little bit.
They are.
And, I have good faith that it's going to be a fantastic weekend. It'll surprise a lot of people with how well I think it does go off. But at the end of the day, someone had to have that idea and pull the pin on it and say, yeah, we're doing this. And those guys have stepped up. So
big swings, man. And look, every single band that we've spoken to is just, everyone is excited, and everyone has the same ideal of just being respectful to the space that we're in, and just making sure that just clean up after yourself, because that's a big thing, man. It's on a private property. What people need to understand is this is on a private property. This is someone's private property that we're going on, so you need to sort of as if you were going into someone else's house, in a sense.
And the people that built this compound, they have spent a lot of time and money putting this site together, and it is, regardless of the way of, okay, it's a venue that is taking a chance on an event like this, so we need to repay that respect.
Exactly,
they have built something that is so representative of Aussie culture, and they've built an iconic Australian thing there, for everyone to enjoy. Massive thank you to those guys and the people behind that.
Absolutely.
And I think, I'm hopeful and reasonably confident that, all the bands we've spoken to so far, they're all super keen on it, and they're all going to be, extremely respectful of the site. And I have to believe that no one is going to be traveling all that way to cause problems, so we're pretty confident. It's just a matter of, making sure that, look, cleaning up your own mess, yes, but if someone doesn't quite clean up their shit,
just grab it.
Yeah,
it's not a hard thing to...
Like when you're on, if you're on the playground at school, right? And it's you got to pick up 10 pieces of rubbish before you go play or some shit. Just
smart kids who grab a bit of paper and rip it up into 10 pieces.
Yeah. Our teachers basically used to go, no small bits. It's got to be bigger. It's got to be bigger than a packet of chips. Bigger than a small packet of chips. That was smart. But even then, I was talking about this last night while I was in Goulburn and just sort of talking about it in conversation. And one of the bands that was there that were old enough to actually go to this thing were like, "What is this?" And I'm like, it's a 2-day metal festival. If you get your tickets, I think it would be $125, and you just drive out there. It's a camping site. There's no power, but it's BYO. As soon as I mentioned the BYO bit, you just watch them go, hold on. $120 for 2 bands, and all I need is petrol to go out there, and I can bring my own drinks.
Go.
And straight away, the phones came out. They're like, what have we got on that long weekend? What have we got on that? I genuinely hope they buy tickets.
Yeah.
But
tell them.
Because this is, and it being an all ages event too, it's the potential for whole families to come out. You can make parents that are wanting to find a way to share their interest of music with their kids. Great example, great opportunity to do that. You're showing your kids what the metal community can do, which is awesome. It's such a great. So, given, do you guys have anything special in the works for it, in terms of your set or your outfits or anything special in particular?
Halftime oranges mid-set.
The frozen ones.
me and Tom have actually talked about multiple times just bringing buckets of oranges and just handing them out mid-set. But
got to fight off that scurvy.
That's it. Only the Aussies would get it. And you know what? I'd love to see that get done in an American crowd.
Well, they're taking up the shoey, so why not the halftime oranges?
Yeah. You know what you should do? Only the people that are over 18. You should just maybe get like cut them into their quarters or whatever, and then just get a tub of vodka, just let them soak it all up, chuck them in the freezer.
Or make one with the vodka and one without. Sit them at the end of the stage and just be like, all right, lucky dip.
When we see you sitting on an esky full of oranges, we know what's going on. But
lucky we're not playing it. We'd be able to take them.
Should we make a vodka watermelon, Raff?
Mate, we're gonna have so much shit to worry about.
I can't get too. Yeah, we can't get too trash.
We can't get too. We can't get too tricky like that, mate. We can't get too involved. Now, you guys, in addition to this, you guys also have a show in Melbourne coming up towards when's that one? Sorry, it's
31st.
31st, yeah, end of the month.
31st of August. All right. Well, what we'll do, because this episode isn't going to air until after that, give us the rundown, the promo for the gig, and we'll clip it out, and then we can put that up, and you can use that as to promote the gig.
We're playing at Bad Decisions in Fitzroy. It's actually kind of a bit of a strange gig. It's all bands that we've never played with before, so it'd be interesting to sort of see what the turnout's going to be like, and obviously sort of jumping into different genres of music and stuff like that as well. So there's obviously us playing, there's King Hideous, there's Harold Holt Search Party.
Fuck! Whoa.
You guys know the Harold Holt Search Party?
No!
Oh, you don't?
No, what the hell is...
How good of a band name is that, though?
Yeah.
That is... Holy fuck! Hang on.
For those of our international audience, was it either one that went swimming and didn't come back?
Pretty sure. Yeah.
And then they named a fucking swim center after him.
Yeah, he just went swimming on the beach and never came back.
Yeah,
lost to the elements.
Now there's
supposedly.
Allegedly, yeah.
Nah, that should be good though. I think Inferiority Complex, I think they called his headlining. So
yeah.
And that's on 31st, you said, of August.
Yeah. In Fitzroy.
So let me guess. So what was it in Security Complex? They're playing after the Harold Holt Search Party. I'd probably have one a complex if I was a part of the Harold Holt.
No, I think the party band are opening the show. I'm not too sure.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
It should be good either way. I'm pretty keen to get back down to Melbourne.
100%. Just playing with different bands as well. It's just like, we every now and again we find ourselves on a lineup, and it's just like there is no one else like our vibe or our music that we're playing with. So it's like kind of like that nervousness of like, are we going to be received good because we're not like all the other bands, or are we going to kind of stand out from everyone in a good way because we're not like all the other bands? So
yeah.
It's a bit of a roll of the dice when you have to travel, obviously, to new places to play to new crowds and stuff like that. But we're super keen for it. Like, we always love getting down there. We've got a whole bunch of friends and stuff that live down in Melbourne and everything as well, so they always usually come out to the shows. And then you end up bumping into just random people from other bands that just decided to come out and check us out, kind of thing, because we're down that way. So it's always a good time. Yeah.
Sick. That's going to be really, really good. It sounds like an awesome show. So yeah, make sure you go and get your tickets for that one. We'll clip this bit out, like I said, and send it to you guys so you can put that up as some promo. If you're watching this when the episode's gone live,
you missed the show.
You missed the show, unfortunately. But go and look at all the bands. Go and check out all the bands that were on the lineup. Go and look them up online and get that stuff. And get your tickets to Metal to the Max. We'll have links
if you missed that show,
there.
You can catch Metal to the Max.
If you're watching the podcast,
get one for your family as well. Buy as many as you want.
Yeah.
If you watch now, yes, the bands were great in Melbourne. Thanks for asking.
100%.
I like it.
All right. So before we take it home, now we got a little survey we've been conducting over the last couple of months. and we plan on expanding it and really going deep, asking all the punters when we're out at Metal to the Max. So, but the question that we're trying to dive into here is, who is the big four of nu metal era? Because obviously you've got the big four of thrash being Metallica, Megadeth, Slayer, and Anthrax. But with, obvious debate around some of those inclusions, about a couple of those ones. So we are trying to get people's thoughts on the big four of the nu metal era. Now, I will clarify, this doesn't just mean bands that are considered nu metal. We're talking about bands that came to prominence during the nu metal era. Is kind of how we're defining the
For
scope
example,
of this question.
Deftones like to think of themselves aren't nu metal, but they don't get to decide what genre they're in, and they are nu metal.
So
I know.
This is basically what we're going to be. What we're doing is tallying all the numbers. I've got a spreadsheet here, and I'm adding everything up there, and then we'll sort of hopefully by the end of the year have some sort of consensus, and can put out something resembling a. As definitive as this extremely unscientific process can get us.
Well, do you want to go 2 and 2, Pity?
Yeah. All right. Do you want to throw your two first?
I'm going to throw one real left field out there because I haven't heard it brought up yet. But POD.
Ooh, okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they were around in that era. They didn't get enough attention, but there's some songs wherever they come on, doesn't matter who's listening to them, people in the room are going to start singing it, like Southtown. What a banger.
Yeah. I like it. That is definitely a first.
The obvious Limp Bizkit.
Yeah.
That's a given, I think.
Yep.
Seven Dust has got to be up there. Come on.
I love you, man.
Yeah.
I love you.
Yeah,
they do not get anywhere near enough credit for those beautiful soulful tones that they brought into heavy metal.
I saw live videos of them like literally a couple of weeks ago on YouTube, and like they're sounding better. Like it's crazy. Like,
well, LeJohn just did a track with Tech Nine as well. Actually, Tech Nine released a collaborations album. So
Reaction.
LeJohn did a thing. I don't know if they've done a film clip for it, but they got the single out there. So
I gotta listen to that.
Yeah, it's a good one.
A whole bunch of that.
All right, Jordan, you got the final say on spot number 4.
Korn.
Yeah.
I was gonna throw the old Linkin Park in there, but I think I don't know. I think between them and Korn, in terms of a nu metal big four, I'd probably put Korn. But I'd definitely rate Linkin Park up there as well. So it's a bit of a
yeah. I mean, they definitely came a little bit later in that period, but they were
super influential.
They were in terms of their influence on rock and metal kind of as a broader thing,
and rap.
It's really brought a lot of stuff. Really sort of carried a lot of that influence forward. So
I mean, that Fort Minor shit that Mike Shinoda done was next level.
Minor Man, it was like back when Fort Minor had sort of like started up and that I wasn't like still young, but like I was still sort of in my Linkin Park phase, so it was kind of
I think I still remember what was it? 10% luck, 20% skill, 15% concentrated power, will, 5% pleasure, 15% playing, and 100% reason to remember the name.
Yeah, you got it.
Oh shit!
Bars.
Because one of the guys I wrestle with uses like the heavy version of that song for a theme. But every time all I think of is like, oh great, I'm in high school again. Like,
yeah, that's all right. I'd much rather be there paying no rent and mortgage.
But I'd put Korn as me answer. I think over Linkin Park.
Yeah,
that's a solid 4, man. I like the two outsiders. I got to say, I dig the two outsiders.
Yeah, POD hadn't been mentioned before.
Do not get enough credit.
So
fuck no.
I mean, look, when that song that they did for the soundtrack of, I think it was the second Matrix movie, Sleeping Awake, when that one was used in the film clip for that and everything, like that sparked definite interest in me around like
the Matrix soundtracks.
Oh yeah. They're top tier on even anything. But Sleeping Awake kind of. I played that song when I was sort of first starting to learn bass. I played that song fucking like every day, every single day. I'll be playing that one because like it was in drop D and it was like heavy, but still like a bit interesting. And like Try Daniels as a bass player is like, yeah, oh yeah.
And now you look at people with fucking like 8 strings, double drop D and shit. It's like, man,
mate. I watched a 16-year-old last night play a six string, and was playing Slayer songs on it. The kid's an absolute animal. He's an absolute. And I asked him last night. I'm like, why a 6-string? He's like, I had a 4, and then I saw a 6-string cheap, and I thought, it's going to piss people off. And I went, that is the
100%
best.
it will, but why not?
That is the best. Look, if you go into that with that attitude, I'm going to master this just to fucking upset everyone. I'm down.
Come in at least one burr dang, then you just give up, man.
Well, he plays the thing with his fingers too. Add a bit of pick.
Nice. It's great. Like, well, all right. So before we let you guys go for today, is there anything else that you want to let the people know for today?
Paint yourselves up for this festival and look like us, because it'd be funny to just bump into each other and, hey, Sean, wait, you're not Sean. You're
dude, you know what would be even better if one of you's got someone else to go up on stage for you and the rest of the band members didn't notice.
We just descend into anarchy.
Oh, dude, it would be so funny.
But the best part would be, right, the best part though now, what I'm imagining is without talking to each other, every member of the band organizes that. So it's like, it's all 5 strangers on 5 impersonators.
The silly thing is, like, we're all kind of on that same level of like pulling that kind of shit on each other. So that's not a very far-fetched thing to happen.
I say you do it anyway. Get 5 people to paint their faces, and then just go up there before they start, and then just take the guitars off them.
But all right, we're hiring body double Sean before we get to this thing.
Just find him at the show on the weekend. It'll be so easy.
I get your tickets.
Yes.
Yeah, go get your tickets.
Get your tickets and then work out a way to get out there because it's going to be awesome. Even if you have to sleep, you're sleeping rough for a couple of nights. It's a couple of nights. Like that's what makes these kind of events.
It's a 2-day thing. Don't go too hard and blow it all on the first day because you've got a whole second day to get through as well.
Mate, your priority should be when you rock up there on the Friday. Here are your 2 things that my bit of advice to anyone going camping out there.
Hang on, I'll make you big so that everyone can see. There you go.
Get out there at least an hour or 2 before the sun goes down. You do not want to be setting up a tent in the dark. It is the hardest thing to do on the planet. And you don't want to be driving through a campsite while it's dark either and everyone's set up because it's just caca. Get in there a bit earlier. If you're going to get there late, just try and stay out of town, like in town at the Macca's or something until the sun comes up the next day because you are going to have a really bad time if you try and set up your tent in the dark. Get up there when there's
like
sun.
A good 20.
Yeah, just get up there where you have plenty of lights. You will have people around you. If you don't know how to set up a tent, do not be afraid to ask someone next to you how to do it. Just get it done quick, get yourself set up and get out of the way.
Well, that's what I was going to say as well. Everyone's going to be sharing the space, so just be considerate to the others around you.
And don't be afraid to ask for help and just, be considerate, 100% be considerate of the space. Don't be a dickhead and be playing your music at all hours of the night because you're pissed. There's going to be families there. Like, if you're going to do that, try and stay away from the families and find a little corner where everyone's going to be doing that and partying or stay with them.
Just be mindful. Pretty much, I'd say just play it off like it's a family home. Be respectful. Be mindful.
You'll find your space where you get to let loose.
Yeah, that's the thing. Just keep in mind we're all there to have fun, but it is at the end of the day it is an all ages event. So just be mindful.
Be mindful.
Yeah.
We're going
Awesome.
to have a great time.
Well, massive thank you to Jordan and Sean from Headstone Villains for joining us today.
Thank you.
There'll be a couple more videos coming from these guys on the weekend, so stick around for those. And we will catch everybody out in the wasteland. We'll see you guys later. Peace out.
Peace.
Guys.
Thank you very much for watching today's video. We really hope you had a good time with us. If you did, consider hitting the like and subscribe buttons down there and ring that bell so you get notified of all the videos we've got coming out. And we do also have a Patreon. If you're interested, you can head on over there. You can get all the videos early and ad-free. So, a little bit of a benefit. It's only a couple of bucks a month. But if not, thank you very much for watching anyway, and we'll catch you guys next time.